The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the March 1st, the wonderful Wednesday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. And let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us. That's right, folks. My apology. I lost my train of thought out there. But life is happening for us. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go figure out what's happening for us out there. So give us a call at 877-927-6648. And if you can't call in, but you've got a question, you can always send me an email. For that, you send that off to steve@tfnn.com. And inside the subject heading, if you'd be kind enough to put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, well, any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on wonderful Wednesday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. A bit of a mixed bag right now. You got the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ trading lower. Dow's off 40, S&P 17, about 0.4. 0.8 for the NASDAQ 194 points, and Russell is just slightly positive. Semis are down 2 points. Trendy's up 92. Gold's up 9.50. Silver's up a nickel. Light sweet crude is up 35 cents. Natural gas is back about 3 pennies, and the 30 Treasury down 1 point and 1 tick. Trade down at 123.03. Leading the charge dollar-wise to the upside, we've got Riata Pharmaceuticals, $54, 173% move. Well, they cured something. Sarepta Therapeutics up $25 and 21%. First Solar is up $14, 23. Dycom Industries up $18. That's a 22% pop there. To the downside, it's Montrose Environment down 29%, $14. Exometry is down 43% or $13. National Vision has got poor vision out here. It's off about $13 or 34%. And O'Reilly Automotive down 1.5%. That's $12 and change to the downside. So let's begin by taking a look at what? Let's go look at our equity future contracts. We'll look at the 4, the daily. Some interesting patterns potentially setting up here. So we'll see the white background charts here momentarily. The ES Mini. What you'll see is today is going to, or should form, or is likely to form bar number 5. Bar number 8, that is. The question is, will it tick below bar number 5? Bar number 5's low, 39.4750. We've just got a smidgen to go to do that. We've been down to 39.4850. One more point and a tick, please. Now, if you do that, you'll generate bar number 8 of a TD9 count. Odds favor that this would then go ahead and form bar number 9. However, because of this cluster, this sideways cluster that we have here, tomorrow's close. So if you get that TD9 count or that triggered today, it can trigger itself tomorrow as well. But what needs to occur then tomorrow is the ES Mini would have to still close below 39.75 to give you the full TD9 count. So that's something for us to pay attention to inside the ES Mini. The NQ, which has an A to B equals CD to the downside, it's already made the 1-to-1 price objective. This only needs a bullish reversal candle to confirm a bottom. However, it also could use a tick below 11,923. If we get that, we're at 11,936 right now. If we get that today or tomorrow, but certainly today, that would then trigger a bar number 8 scenario. And then tomorrow, what the NQ would do is it would have to still close below 11,997 for that pattern to come into effect. So you've got two potentials. And the reason why I say two potentials is because when I take and why we're watching for that potential pattern, all right, enough potential, Stevie, is because the Dow is going to form a TD9 count bottom today. So this has a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. It's basically been traded in a sideways consolidation. We can see that it's traded just slightly below that right now. We probably could move that line down just a tad. But this suggests that we should see a bottom forming inside the Dow between today and tomorrow out there. Now, I would say tomorrow would be the more likely candidate, but if we do get those bar number 8 triggers today, well, it could be today. Now, remember, in order for bar number 9 to complete on the ES and the NQ, you can't really get much of a rally. So this sideways choppy move would really still need to continue in order for that pattern. The one holdout here is going to be the Russell 2000. It does have an A to B equals CD to the downside, takes us into about the 1850 area, 1855 or so, but no other bottom pattern that we have here for the Russell. So those are things that we'll pay attention to. We'll most certainly take a look at that come tomorrow. What else do we need to look at out there? I think the answer is we just simply go to the questions that have come in, and that may take us through a number of instruments that you're looking for. So the first request coming in from Hector and Patty this morning, and they want to take a look at Southern Copper. So the question is, happy wild wet weather Wednesday from the West Coast. Sorry to hear about that. Come out here to the Southeast Coast. We've got nothing but sun and warm weather. SCCO, please, daily, weekly, and monthly recap of the Oscillator and Changeline support resistance. Thank you also for your thoughts on the puppy getting ready to launch upward again. You got this. So let's take a look at SCCO. Get over to it. So that's Southern Copper. Southern Copper gapping up right now and trading above a new profile that formed 2 days ago. So Hector and Patty, that's a beautiful thing. That resistance level that you were asking about was at 76.19. It's still at 76.19. We don't know where this will close today, but it closed above 76.19. Says you go ahead after wave number 7 that was formed out here on February 1st. Now, the volume on that session was 1.8 million shares. So far today, we're at 272. So it's a bit light in the loafers, but nonetheless, you're trading inside that swing point. You close above 76.19. Resistance also support now is going to be 75.80. That's that green oscillator and change line. That was on the daily time frame. On a weekly time frame, we've got no topping pattern. Take that back. There is an A to B equals C to sell the D point pattern, but that took price right back to the green oscillator and change line, which held. So it tells us our momentum to the upside is still very strong. So this is suggesting a run at those recent highs as well. Now, the high that I've got on the weekly chart was up at the 78.76 level. The high on the daily, 78.76. So I'm looking at the both the same highs out there. And on the monthly time frame chart, you're above profile, you're above the green oscillator and change line. You've got no topping signal at the moment. You are running into a TD9 count top that took place in February of 2021. There were 23 million shares that traded during that month. Last month in Southern Copper, we were 22 million shares. So moving nicely into that swing point with volume. All of this suggests that Southern Copper should continue to move higher and go test its recent highs. Maybe it takes those things out. If I look at a 30-minute time frame chart, what you have here is a negated TD9 count top. That took place yesterday at 2:30 in the afternoon out there. So everything here looks hunky-dory as well. Lastly, let's just take a look at on a weekly basis what took place here, or really whatever time frame we want to look, but just take a look at Southern Copper. We'll do a couple of things out here for Southern Copper. Here's Southern Copper on a weekly basis. We can see a very strong move out here. We've only had one 2-bar pullback, consecutive closes that is, back since the low of September 30th on a weekly time frame out here. If I put this to the daily, just see where we're at on the daily out here. Daily, how many moves to the upside? Well, this would be bar number 3. Last time we had bar number 3 out here, Hector and Patty, that was up at that high from February 1st. So this is suggesting, even though it wants to move higher, odds would favor perhaps we get some kind of pullback tomorrow. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. So we're going to spend a little time in the currency area. We've got some requests to take a look at the euro, the yen, the dollar. So we'll do that. One was from Peter in Park City, and somebody else chimed in and also wanted to take a look at currencies. Who was that? My apology, I don't recall. But let's take we've got the charts up here for the euro. We've got the multi-panel set of charts. So we take a look at the euro on a monthly time frame. We'll just simply open this up and pull this back just a bit. So we'll see that what Stevie drew in here were a couple of different trend lines, descending trend line, a rising trend line out there. Now, oftentimes, when you break a trend line, price will come back up and test it to make sure that it was a real break. Well, it turns out in the case of the euro out here, we had a 1, 2, 3, we had a 4-month, this is a monthly chart, 4-month consecutive rise right up into that rising trend line. And it found resistance. Then last month, you got that nice big old bearish engulfing candle out here. Now, with regard to the euro, the area to be paying attention to, Peter, is going to be at the 1047 area. Now, that's going to move up and down, but it's that red oscillator and change line. If on a monthly basis, the euro closes back below that level, we're headed back towards its lows out there of September of 2022 and probably even lower. Now, that's a bigger picture look. If we take a look at the weekly chart out here, the weekly chart shows us what? Well, it shows us that price right now last week closed below the oscillator and change line. This week we're back above it. It's green in color. So right now I'll call this more neutral with regard to its overall signal here, but still trade above a green oscillator and change line says it wants higher price. So let's go figure out what the daily time frame chart says. Well, in the case of the daily time frame, this formed a TD9 count bottom. It did it 2 days ago. It completed that pattern yesterday. And now what's taking place here, Peter and gang, is prices bounced right up into resistance. Resistance is that red oscillator and change line. That's currently pretty really right where we're trading at 106. We're trading at 1065. So here is resistance. Now, this is where price should turn down if it is bearish. And we'll take a look at the short-term time frame chart, see if there's any signals out there. If price closes above this level, then a move up to 10744 would be its message to you and I. Now, on the intraday charts here for the euro, what do we have? Just looking to see if we've got any topping patterns. And the answer is, I don't. Yeah, I don't. So it's all going to be all about the now, I could probably pull these charts back further. Maybe I could find an A to B equals CD pattern, but nothing sticks out at me real quickly here on the intraday chart. So it's really going to be about the daily, Peter. So with regard to the euro, which obviously has about a 54 or 57 or 56% impact on the U.S. dollar, if the euro on a daily basis closes above that oscillator and change line, that will put a bit of weakness into the U.S. dollar. Whereas if it turns down from now, well, that'll put some strength into the U.S. dollar. So that's what's going on with the euro. We'll go take a look at the yen now. I'm going to close out this page because it takes up a bunch of my resources. It's going to pop up some set of charts out here. Not what we were looking for. Those are the daily equity future contracts. Now, let's get down and take a look at the yen. As we take a look at the yen on a monthly time frame, price right now is struggling at its oscillator and change line. So we don't really have a clear message here. We'll go to call it neutral. Not so much neutral on the weekly chart. A nice TD9 count bottom that formed. That formed back here on, well, it completed the pattern on January the 20th out there. Now, that's led to price closing above last week, above that green oscillator and change line. The green oscillator and change line right now, Peter, 135.55. As long as price remains above that, then what the yen wants to do, it wants to weaken. When this is moving higher, this is weakening, and the U.S. dollar would be getting stronger. So now you don't have a 50% weighting here, but certainly the yen would be suggesting it wants to move higher. Now that's coming from the weekly chart. So the monthly was neutral. The weekly is saying I want higher price, with 147.56 being the target. And then on the daily time frame, you've got a TD9 count top. So what should happen, Peter, is price should pull back to test that green oscillator and change line, currently printed about the 134.73-ish area out there. If price tests and rejects that line and then moves higher, well, then you've got a key level of support that held, and then it certainly would require still a close above that TD9 count top. That price level is 136.52. Now, if price closes above 136.52 before it gets down to that green oscillator and change line, it negates that signal and tells you it wants to weaken even further by moving up to the 141.61 level. That's a TD9 count breakdown area out there. So that's what's going on with the yen. Now let's go try to figure out what's going on with the dollar. Now to do that, I've got to go to my black background charts here, Peter. I know that it has a TD9 count top out there, so we'll take a look at that. The reason is because ICE uses a different data feed, and I'd have to shut down a bunch of the other things out there, and I don't want to do that. It'll just create more of a hassle. So we're going to go change windows here. We're going to go take a look at these black background charts. And this will provide us with enough information. First, you've got a TD9 count top. That completed yesterday. That TD9 count high, that's a key level, threshold level to be watching, is going to be up at that 105.32. If the U.S. dollar, Peter, anybody else close above 105.32, it's on its way higher. On its way higher to where? Now, that's a good question. If we take a look at the weekly time frame chart, the top of its profile is at 105.02. So we said that we had 105.32. So a close above that would negate the TD9 count daily top, and it would be another close above the weekly profile. It did close above it last week, so we know it's trying to break out there, but it's back inside it now. On a pullback, where the U.S. dollar should find support would be at 103.84, the bottom of that daily profile. If price were to close below that, then we'd be looking at a move back into the 101.62, 101.16 to 101.64 area. The monthly chart out here is bullish. When I say bullish, price is inside a bullish structured monthly profile. As long as price remains above 104.34, we're at 104.42, and I'm really referring to on a monthly basis, then what we should see is a move up to the 114 level. And on a yearly basis, we took out last year's high. We're trading a bit higher this year based upon the close. Price should head up to that 116 area. So that's the big picture with regard to gold, the yen, and the euro. So I hope that helps you out, Peter. Thank you very much for the request. The next request was to take a look at, give me a moment here. Let me get up to it. Let me try to find it. We're going to change panels again. If you give me a moment, we'll try to get to where I believe we need to go, and that was not it. I think it's this next tab here. And now we'll go ahead and change the actual screen so that Mr. Bill doesn't have to hit me upside the head with a 2x4. So now what we're taking a look at is ticker symbol SVRA. And this is for Dan inside the Tiger's Den. SVRA is Savara Inc. And Savara Inc. is trading out at 252. It is consolidated with inside its daily profile. Dan, that's from a range of 243 all the way up to the 282 level out there. So I just see a consolidation on its daily time frame. Nothing else. So it has a TD9 count top as well. That TD9 count top would need a let me just make sure it wasn't negated. 282. What was this close here? 282. No, it was not negated. So you still have a TD9 count top at what did I say it was? 282. Make sure. Yeah, 282. So close above 282. This thing is headed north. Now, 282 also happens to be the weekly top of its profile. So that's your strong resistance level out there. So you got a consolidation. Next area of resistance to the upside, if it continues to move the upside, it's going to be in that 270, 272 level. And then, of course, you would have 282. Monthly chart not really providing us with a ton of information. So you got a consolidation on the daily, a consolidation on the weekly. Very short-term wise, on a 30-minute time frame chart, I don't see much anything to assist us here. So, Dan, that was SVRA, Savara Inc. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We've got the Dow. Really, you got all the U.S. indices trading to the downside. The exception being the transports, which are off 63 points out there. Dow's down 53, S&P's up 21, Nasdaq 100 is 108. We're taking a look at ticker symbol LGO. This is for Dan inside the Tiger's Den. This is Largo Inc., which right now is trading above its daily profile. That was at 650. That was resistance, and it's trading above its green oscillator and change line, which is priced at 658. It's moving into a couple of different swing points. The swing point that we're kind of focusing right now is January 18th. That swing point high, that had volume of 68,000 shares. So far in the first 2 hours of trading, you've done 23,000 shares. So price is moving into that swing point with volume. That would suggest to you and I that price should go tag the 706 level. That is the high of the swing point on a daily basis from January the 18th out there. There is another swing point out here, which is trade into. That's one from February 15th. That had volume of 69,000 shares. Again, you're already at 23,000. So odds favor that it's got the volume to even take that on as well. On a weekly basis, you've got the resistance level is going to be the swing point high of 706. So you close above 706, you may set up you'd set up an A to B equals C to the upside. Whether it's confirmed with volume or not, too early to tell with it being Wednesday. Well, I think it's too early to tell. Let's see. Basically, with not fully a half of the week of trading, this had 319,000 shares the week of January 20th. So far this week, you are at 136. So 136 versus 309. Yeah, it's going to be pretty close to a similar volume. On a monthly basis, what you've got inside of Largo Inc. is a confirmed Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. Now, I don't have any. It's only been trading from a monthly standpoint since April of 2021, so I don't have enough data here to even generate an oscillator and change line and or profiles at this stage. So with regard to what this is going to do for the rest of the day, Dano, if we take a look at its 30-minute chart, it did form a TD9 count that was negated immediately. That's a bullish message. So this should continue to move higher. It should go target those highs that we took a look at earlier. I do hope that helps you out with regard to Largo. Ticker symbol there is LGO. That was for Dan inside the Tiger's Den. The next question coming in from Alton. And Alton wants to take a look at the 30-year. So let's get to my 30-year charts out there, multi-panel set of charts. Let's actually read what Alton is asking. Good morning, Steve. What is your take on the 30-year rates? 6 to 12 month time horizon. Always appreciate your analysis. Well, thank you. You're welcome. So if we take a look at the 30-year bond out here, what we have is we have a confirmed buy the D point pattern. That formed out here back in November of 2022. Now, price is trading into that, really into the swing point. Was really the October 22 was the low there. So when you trade into a swing point, Alton, which right now on a monthly basis, that's what the 30-year Treasury is doing. It may go down and actually test that support level. That's the low of that session. That would be at 117.17. On a weekly basis, what we have is just a sideways consolidation going on for the most part out here. Price is holding its red oscillator and change line. A close below it would be 2 weeks below that, and that would then also suggest getting back to the lows. That would be just confirming, Alton, what you and I looked at on the monthly time frame. The daily time frame shows a Rhodes Momentum Indicator signal has been triggered, and if there's a bullish reversal candle that forms, then you know that we are going to get at least a bounce. Now, the bounce would take us up towards the profile areas out there. Those profile areas being in the range right now. Well, there's a new profile that is forming. It's not on my white background charts out here. Hopefully they catch up. 2120. I was looking at the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I take that back. I was looking at silver. So the profile levels of resistance on a bounce be 124.10. If price get back inside that, then you're looking at 126.08 as the target. But right now, the daily chart says I want lower price unless there is a bullish reversal candle form. On the intraday charts out here, I don't really see any bottoming patterns that have held out here, so no reason that the 30-year Treasury shouldn't continue to move lower. You were asking me about 6 to 12 months, and I'm just I can't answer that. The charts have to answer that for me. And if the charts could speak, then we'd be great. Actually, I'm just narrating the charts. We really need to see a technical pattern fail either to the upside or to the downside. To the upside, on the longer term, you're asking 6 to 12 months. I'm just going to stick with the monthly chart. Close above 131. 08 at this stage here. That would be bullish and add to the buy the D point pattern. Until then, and you're in that side, that swing point, price is likely to head lower. So, Alton, I hope that helps you out with regard to the 30-year Treasury. Thank you for taking the time to write in, and you have a wonderful Wednesday. The next question coming in from JB1 inside the Tiger's Den. And JB's question had to do with the indices. He was interested in the TD9 counts that were present, and I'm not sure if there's anything else. So here are the U.S. indices out there. I think you were just looking for the S&P and the NASDAQ 100. Well, we'll give you all 8 of them out here. So in the case of the Dow Jones Industrials, today we'll form bar number 9 of a TD9 count. That says on a daily basis that the Dow should or could form a bottom between today and tomorrow. If it does form that bottom, what price should then do is bounce up to its red oscillator and change line. That's currently printed at 33,234, so that gives you a price target. On a daily basis, a TD9 count bottom is going to form today. Well, that's under the assumption it closed below buy number 5. We'd have to have one heck of a rally for that to happen. So you're going to get a TD9 count bottom inside the Dow Jones and the S&P today. Inside the NDX 100, in order to get bar number 8, the NDX 100 needs to at least tick below 11,984. We haven't gotten that yet. We've got down to 11,906.58. But what we do have is an A to B equals CD to the downside. And that A to B equals C to the downside needs a bullish reversal candle to confirm. So if we were to get that, that would set up a Gartley buy pattern. That would then take price, or should take price, up to the 12,300 area. That is the green oscillator and change line. We've got a nice TD9 count top on the Russell 2000. I don't have any kind of I take that back. There is an A to B equals CD to the downside. Let's draw that in, because I haven't looked at this for a bit. So here's A to B. I'm just going to move this over to the C point out there. Yeah, it still hasn't gotten down to complete that A to B equals CD pattern. So it does look like the Russell may want to target that 1859 level. If it does that, and then generates a bullish reversal candle, you would have a Gartley buy pattern there. The case of the semis out here, the semis, I don't see much. It's trading below its momentum level of resistance, was at 30.31. But I don't have a real good read here as to what the semis want to do. On the Dow transports, which are having a decent day compared to the other indices out here, what this has is a sell the D point pattern. It actually has a buy the D point pattern. It looks like it does. Let's update this chart here. So let's get rid of that. Let's draw in at least that A to B equals CD to the downside. Let's see if, in fact, this has finished. So the A to B point, pretty easy to identify. Here's A, which is that high out there, the B point, which is, and let's just move that. This is the daily time frame that we're looking at, over to the C point. We'll see that this pattern has completed. So you already have a confirmed Gartley buy pattern inside of the Dow transports. That confirmed it. It hit almost the 1-to-1 exactly, and then it formed a gap to the upside, a rising window. The transports today, were they just simply testing that window? So the high of that window, if you will, is up at 14,670. The low today has been 14,680. So that window is still open. That gap is to the upside is still open. So you do have a buy the D point pattern there. NASDAQ Composite needs to close, not close, it needs to tick below 11,334.47. If it does that, it'll trigger bar number 8, and this could form a TD9 count pattern between tomorrow and Friday. New York Stock Exchange, bar number 9 is present, so this has a TD9 count bottom. That says the New York Stock Exchange should bottom between today and tomorrow. So, folks, what it looks like here, we're either going to get a massive failure, and that would be closes below the bottom of TD9 counts, or we're going to get a rally. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the opening call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. So we're going to take a look at ticker symbol KWEB. This is for McGuppy inside our Tiger's Den. And KWAB right now trading out at about 30.49 out there. Had a nice gap to the upside. This is the Crane Shares China Internet ETF is what we're looking at out here. So when we look at the patterns, today's gap to the upside confirms a buy the D point pattern. Now, what it also did, though, your question was specifically where to add to a long position. See how this has bounced up, McGuppy, right into that red oscillator and change line, which is printed at 30.85. It's also got resistance up at 31.37. So if price turns down from here, which it has, but if it turns down from here, it's really just a counter trend move, and it may want to actually continue to move lower out there. Now, price would have to first close below 30.11 to suggest that. That is, it looks like the bottom of the profile. Let me just make sure of that. Looks like that might be the bottom and the center. It is the bottom and the center. So a close below 30.11 would be sending a pretty decent signal that it wants lower price, McGuppy. You're asking where to add to it, where to buy. This TD9 count pattern that's in effect right now is going to go away. Pattern number 8. Yeah, or it looks like, well, I won't really know until day's end. On a weekly basis, what we have out here is really not much. I'm not going to call that an A to B equals CD pattern. But what I can share with you is price is trading below the bottom of its, well, let me make sure again, 32.67. Yeah, it's trading below the bottom of its profile. And dealing with the red oscillator and change line, but it's early in the week, so I can't really make a good call here. Your question, though, where to add to the position. I'm going to wait. I think you got to wait here. You could try 30.11. Certainly, you could try 30.11 if price gets back there. I'm looking at a 30-minute time frame chart right now, and I don't have any good signals here. Price also ran into resistance at the TD9 count breakdown area of 2069. That is held, even on that move higher back at 10 o'clock in the morning on the 23rd out there. So that's your real key level of resistance. That's very clear to you and I, 3069. So where to add? I'd wait for a further pullback, see if we get it. Look for some type of short-term pattern on a 30-minute time frame chart, but watch that 30-11 area, because if that holds, that tells, or if that does not hold, that tells us we're headed lower out there. So that's what I see when I take a look at K-Web. I hope that helps you out, McGuppy. Thank you so much for the request. The next request came in from the Big Chill out there. I think we should play some cool rock and roll music out there. Speaking of Big Chill, kind of going back to that time frame, I went to last night to see that new movie with Kelsey Grammer, Jesus Revolution. That was really a great movie. In any event, if we take a look at the ITI, I don't know what ITI is, but we're going to find out here. But this is for the Big Chill. And the Big Chill, I think he just wanted me to review ITI. That is Iteris Inc., which is trading right now. It's got a TD9 count top. It confirmed that TD9 count top yesterday. That pattern completes today. And but price is below its green oscillator and change line, but above profile. So what you want to really watch is the 470 level. If price closed below 470, then you could or should get some traction back to support. That's going to be between 432, 434, and 444. Those would be the target areas to the downside. If it does not close below 472, even though we have a confirmed TD9 count top, what we really have is a neutral signal out there. Why? You've got a confirmed top, but price above resistance levels out there. So watch that 470. On a weekly basis, ITI should form bar number 9 this week. In order to do that, price must close above, this is on Friday, price must close above on Friday, 447. So if that happens, you're going to get a TD9 count on the weekly, a TD9 count pattern on the daily out there, and that suggests prepare for a retracement. But again, we're still neutral with regard to signal. Why are we still neutral, Steve-O? Plus on the weekly, you've got wave number 7, that's letter G, because the top or the high can form on the bar following bar number 9 out there, and that would be the reason. On a monthly chart, everything looks really good. Had a nice TD9 count bottom. That was confirmed back in May of 2022. You're above profile. So the monthly chart says longer term, I want to get up to 654. But in the short and intermediate term basis, ITI may be forming or is forming, certainly did form a TD9 count top on the daily. Looks like it's going to do the same thing on the weekly. And this says prepare for a pullback to support. And that support really being in the anywhere between 393 to 432 type range. So Big Chill. I hope that helps you out. Thank you so much for the request. The next request, I think, came in from Duncan Steve. I didn't write down who it came from. If I am not giving you proper credit, my apology. It was to take a look at Berkshire Hathaway, BRKB out there, which is just consolidating with inside its daily profile. That's between the range of 301.64 all the way up to the 311.33 level. Now, price is below red oscillator and change line, so it needs to close above 305.86 to really suggest to you and I that it wants to move up to the 309, 311 area. That's in the daily time frame. The weekly time frame shows a consolidation with inside its profile, that range between 301.86, which was tested and held last week, all the way up to the 321.32 level. And we've got a bit of a consolidation going on the monthly time frame chart. So the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, each traveling, consolidating with inside support and resistance established by those daily, weekly, and monthly profiles. So that's what I see when I take a look at Berkshire Hathaway. Duncan Steve, or whoever asked for that request, I hope that I provided you with the information that you were looking for. The last equity that we're going to take a look at, well, maybe not the last equity, but the next equity that we're going to take a look at is BGS. And this is for Brent in Martinez, California. Let's go read Brent's question out here. It says, good morning, Steve. Could you please give your analysis on BGS? This is another of the stocks I added at the end of last year. It came back to the March 2020 low on later volume. Have a nice day after earnings. Thanks so much for the request. Yeah, it's having a terrific day out here. In fact, you've got now a confirmed A to B equals CD to the upside. So we'll take a look at this. So the B point out here, it's labeled number C on my chart. That's just simply part of the Chapman wave tool. I had 1.1 million shares. And today, so far in trading, we're already at 4 million shares. So you got a confirmed A to B equals CD. Now, that's not to say it doesn't have a battle at 1503, Brent, because it does. 1503 is a TD9 count breakdown resistance level. So or 1603. I take that back. 1603, not 1503. 1603 is a TD9 count breakdown resistance. So you'd love to see price close above that. You're at 1607. If we take a look at just simply the 1-to-1 A to B equals CD, I'm going to draw in the A to B. I'm going to move that line over to the C point out there. That was the retracement low. So you're already well above the 1-to-1 area. I'm going to have to do that on my other screen just to give you the numbers or price projection levels. So let me do that here real quickly. And I'm going to stay on these other charts, these other white background charts, just to take a look at what's going on the larger time frame. So your next price target, the 1-to-1.272, target would be 1684, 1-to-1.618, 1825. So this looks very good, Brent. Nice trade there. Now, on the weekly basis, we can see that this had a TD9 count and Rhodes momentum indicator bottom, and price is taken on the 1603 level. That was also a TD9 count breakdown area. So on Friday, you'd love to see this close back above 1603, or stay above, close above 1603. That would then suggest a move to 1715. And 1715 is right now the monthly oscillator and change line. If price closes above that, Brent, then what you're looking at is a move up to 1852. So that's what the charts are telling us. We take a look at BGS. That is for Brent in Martinez, California. Nice trade there, and best of luck to you. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. So we got the Dow. It is up 73. S&P's back 6. The NASDAQ is up 52 out there. And that's weird. That's okay. Just trying to shift over to some other charts. Now, let me do this here. Let me just pull over the market breadth. So this morning we had market breadth that was negative for the S&P 500. It still is the same for the 4 different time frames, 60-minute, 240 daily, and weekly. If we take a look at the NASDAQ 100, this is also bearish for all 4 time frames, daily, weekly, 240 and 60-minute charts out there. You've got the spot volatility index right now that is still below its 50-day exponential moving average out there. So we've got split signals here. When you're below the 50-day, the 50-day, by the way, is printing out at 2080, and we're at 2069 in the spot. That is bullish for the S&P 500. So we've got this choppy market should be expected and anticipated. I don't see anything changing, at least as of just yet. Let's go spend a little time, take a ride on the reading. We only have a little bit of time, about a minute out here. Stevie doesn't know what that means, but it does mean, if you take a look at Microsoft, these are the top 8 holdings inside the NDX 100. Microsoft is going to form a TD9 count bottom today. We'll complete that pattern tomorrow. That would suggest that Microsoft wants to make a move up into the 257 level. Apple has formed bar number 8 of a TD9 count. That says a TD9 count bottom forms between today and Friday out there. That should then take price up towards the 150.96 level. Google has an A to B equals C to the downside, so I don't have any kind of bottom pattern there. Amazon, I believe, let me see, the low on Amazon, that bar 92.32. We've been down, we've been down as low today as 91.93. So the point is that Amazon is back at breakout support, 91.52, and is going to form bar number 8, or appears that it will form bar number 8 today. It really depends upon the close. So that says it could form a TD9 count bottom between today and Friday. So we take a look at this top row, which is the heavy weightings inside of the NDX 100. You've got 3 of the 4 that are going to form or may form TD9 count bottom patterns out there. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. Folks, stay tuned. You've got great programming lined up. I'll be back with you tomorrow on Terrific Thursday. Please have a wonderful Wednesday, and thanks again for joining us.